The hype for games is fading. And of course it is. Every time we get a new release, what's the feeling you get? Is it the invigorating sensation of waiting for a trusted game studio to make a new product? Watching trailers in awe of what's to come? Or is it like looking for the right car insurance? A tedious task that involves you mostly trying to make sure you don't get screwed over. I don't allow myself to get that hyped up anymore, because it doesn't take long for articles to pop up showing just how hopeless and barren the magic of a lot of these game studios have become. The seemingly insatiable focus on gender and bullying of the traditional values that the target audiences that's fueled the industry up until this day have had. It's no secret that today's games have a ceiling on how good they can get, and the industry seems to be suffocated by companies such as Sweet Baby Inc., forcing game studios to conform to the political pressures that's currently taken over the whole Western culture. They scare developers into thinking they won't get funded because when the journalists hear about their decision to ignore the up-to-date, woke de-education of common sense, that they'll make articles putting the game down and therefore destabilizing the release and the marketing. PC culture used to be about not discriminating against people just because they look differently than you. Not allowing people to extort you because of your perceived lower social standing. And now it's about just that, discriminating against people that look differently than you, extorting organizations with toxic white guilt, and so on. You can't tell me I'm supposed to be excited for new games when I see microtransactions around every corner, gender pronouns being pushed at me, and the abhorrent and complete downfall of big companies who used to be great, like Ubisoft. Rockstar's decline into greed, with lead writers leaving the company. Rocksteady's joke of a game killed the Justice League. Ubisoft's implementation of ghetto music, while you, a non-historically accurate black man in feudal Japan, brutally murder Japanese soldiers, caving their heads in while bobbing your head to trap beats. This is where blind virtue signaling leads to. When was the last time a franchise stood the test of time? A franchise that created true and labored momentum was left untouched by the greedy corporations like Sweet Baby Inc. Before I say anything, let me preface by saying I am black. Anyway, I love God of War Ragnarok. I love God of War 4. Seeing the conclusion of the second game brought tears to my eyes more than once. It's amazing. I love that game. With that said, the inclusion of Angerboda's made-up black ethnicity is ridiculous. It's inauthentic. It's supposed to be Norse mythology. And some people will get triggered by this, but it's simply put, if Kratos was a black mythological religious character from Africa and he was put in whiteface, then people would be outraged. But for some reason, this case is, oh no, why are you gatekeeping? It's like, hey, how about we make something new, actually, that makes sense, you know? I think it's a decision that wasn't made out of genuine effort to make it more immersive, rather cater to or fend off companies like Sweet Baby. If she was literally from an African religion or folktale that was, found herself in this region, then that would be really awesome. But it's not. That's not the case. It's inauthentic inclusion of these woke posted characters. Like, that's what takes away from this immersion in games, and it spits in the face of authenticity. If there aren't any black people in the Scandinavian folklore, then why the heck force some lame inclusion that just makes black people look like they're just trying to force themselves into things? It's the same thing with the new Lord of the Rings show, where they've included black elves and dwarves all over Middle-earth. I honestly feel like people are acting like complete idiots here. Like, why the heck would you meddle with something that someone else has created and then just to shoehorn your own bullshit into it? If there's a place in Middle-earth or surrounding continents where there are people with different ethnicities, then why not see what can be done with that if it's adhering to Tolkien's story? If you're creating stories from someone else's work, or if you're literally ripping a story out of a book, adhere to the source material. Don't create falsehoods, and don't play it off as daring or modern. It's not. It's fake. disingenuous, performative, and disrespectful to the lore and the narrative that the one person who actually cared about what they made put in the effort to create. It's like when you're on the playground with your friends and you've got an established set of rules for a game that you play, and then suddenly out of nowhere some new kid comes along and starts demanding you change the rule and include his countering rules and ideas that simply are not fun because it takes away the immersion through taking away the rules that actually make it fun. Just so his need for inclusion is sated, right before he gets bored with it and runs along to the next bunch of kids that'll accept his bullshit. I hope that we can get back to the main pulse of what fueled the fire for developers, to resort into their caves and come out with these masterpieces that they seemingly have stopped releasing. Nowadays, I play one thing. I play Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's the last gold standard game that for the life of me, I can't let go of it. No other studio has ever, in my experience, poured so much heart and soul into a project like Red Dead Redemption 2. It's crazy how after almost 7 years, it's still my favorite game. And that's how it's going to remain for now. I hope you enjoyed this rant, and if you relate to any of the things I'm talking about, then hit the like and subscribe. And know that there's more stuff coming like it.